Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos, Baruchim Habaim, on the light of the rabbis and the cantors, spiritual leaders of the 5 congregations that compose the MCRC. We're delighted to welcome you wherever you may be in space, that together in time we are welcoming Shabbat. We're also delighted to welcome some of the lay leaders of our congregation, who I will introduce as we go through the service, and particularly like to welcome Leah Ecker, who will be celebrating becoming bat mitzvah tomorrow morning through Emmanuel of Waukesha. Delighted that she's with us also. Of course, since we planned the service, so many other things have changed. And each of my rabbinic colleagues asked me to share a bit of the letters that they sent out to their congregations before we turn to the service. And so, with my apologies to my colleagues if I didn't pick the best part of what you wrote or I misread it, I will try to do my best. Wrote Rabbi Cohn, the prophet Jeremiah proclaimed, "A cry is heard in Ramah, wailing, bitter weeping, Rachel weeping for her children. She refuses to be comforted, for her children are gone. We weep with those who suffer." Remember the Torah's sacred promise encircling the Liberty Bell, "You shall proclaim liberty throughout the land," which reminds us that from the moment slaves were brought here in 1619 until this time of COVID-19, much in America still needs to change. Rabbi Feingold from Beth Hillel, "As Jews, we only know too well the experience of being brutalized, branded, murdered because we were deemed to be a lesser form of life. So let us be the first and the strongest in affirming that the Nishmat Chaim in every human being, and join vigorously in the call for justice for people of color in America by saying, I cannot breathe unless we learn to let everyone breathe." Wrote Rabbi Noah Chertkov of Shalom, "The terrible wrong has set America ablaze, and perhaps the most basic reason is that we've spent too much time distinguishing some people from other people. While people of color have raised their voices, protested, been murdered, marched, and engaged in civil disobedience for their rights, too often we have been content to view this as their pursuit of justice. If positive change is to come to this country, we must see this as our pursuit of justice. Havdalah is a time in which we distinguish Shabbat from the rest of the week, that which is holy from that which is not holy. We do so with many candles woven together, but there are times in which distinguishing one thing from another thing is beneficial. Light only comes when there is a blending of that which is separate into that which is one." And finally, I wrote, based on this week's Torah portion, which begins in a sense with the literal translation of "lift up every head." It is not about counting people, it's all about ensuring that each and every person counts. Only by elevating the individually and intrinsic value of each human being can the census, or really the sum of the whole group, become meaningful. And once we forget that each individual is unique, that each one of us is a child of God, the group can no longer be raised up. And that's been America's challenge from the beginning, whichever year you pick. What words could be more basic to this American experiment than these? A country where all are created equal, with the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, as we the people seek to form a more perfect union. And through all those years where we did not and do not lift every head and every voice, Black voices never stopped reminding us of that biblical and American promise. It was James Weldon Johnson, who was principal of a segregated school in Jacksonville, Florida, penned a poem in 1900 to welcome a visit from Booker T. Washington as Abraham Lincoln's birthday approached. Johnson went on to become the president of the NAACP. And his words, later put to song by his brother John Rosamond Johnson, were these: "Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won." We begin our service, our cantors leading us in Hine Mato. Behold how good it is and how pleasant when people dwell together in peace. You'll find most of our prayers on the visual tefillah before you. And those of you who may have Sidurim, now and then you'll find the pages noted in one of the corners of the slide before you.
I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life.
There we go. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat gala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat gala, penei Shabbat nekabala. La 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 lecha dodi, likrat gala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha dodi, likrat gala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, ishmi anu el meyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litchila la 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 lecha dodi. Likrat gala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha dodi, likrat gala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor ha'baracha, merosh v'kedem nesucha. Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila la 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 lecha dodi, likrat gala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha dodi, likrat gala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Hitoreri, Kivahori, Kumiori, Uri, Shiraveri, Kevod Adonai alai, Nigla la 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 lecha dodi, likrat gala, penei Shabbat nekabala. Laka dodi, likrat kala, Panay Shabbat Kabbalah. Bo weaver shalom, Ateret bala, Gam b'simacha, Uvetzola, Toch emunei, Am segula, Bo yichala, la 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 kadodi, likrat kala, panay Shabbat Kabbalah, laka dodi, likrat kala, panay Shabbat Kabbalah.
Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there is no place on earth without the presence.
יתגדל ויקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברי חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון וחיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב וימרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן מעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
La
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim, bechochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. Bore yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uven laila, Adonai tzevaot shemo, el chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו וקומנו נשיח בחוקך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו ובהם נגד יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hearts marching together.
מי כמוך באלוהים אדוני, מי כמוך ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. It is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than Jacob's own. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace, and raise us up, O guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, and for your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against all enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and peace evermore. Baruch atah Adonai, haporeh sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי אגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש בשמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
You set aside the seventh day for your name, the pinnacle of creation, and you blessed it above all other days, more sacred than all festival times. So it is written in your Torah, the heaven and the earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day, God had completed the work that had been done, ceasing then on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, and ceased from all the creative work that God had chosen to do. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, eternal our God, grant as our heritage your holy Shabbat, that Israel, who sanctifies your name, may rest on it. Praise to you, eternal, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amecha Yisrael u'tefilatam be'ahava tekabel u'tehil ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael Yisrael amecha garov lecho gorea enei el avadecha vechonenu shefoch ruchacha alenu ותחזינה עינינו בשובך לציון. ברחמים ברוך אתה
We acknowledge with thanks that you are the eternal our God and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one, whose mercies never end, O compassionate one, whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, eternal. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulcha na'eh lehodot.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim leolam. B'tov ta'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael. B'chol עת ובכל שעה לשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai Hambarech et amo Yisrael. Hambarech et amo Yisrael. Shalom, Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam.
We take this time now for silent reflection. The prayer Oseh Shalom that we will sing in just a moment calls on the one who causes peace to reign in the high heavens to let peace descend on us and all Israel, and all who inhabit the earth. It's my belief that when peace descends from the heavens above down to our world, it descends to our earthly realm through individuals who are so imbued with spirituality and kindness and righteousness that they bring a sense of divinity into our lives. And almost always, those individuals are sweet singers of Israel. Moses sang, Miriam sang, Deborah sang, King David sang, and our dear cantor Karen Berman sings. She sings, not just the songs of our tradition or her own songs written and composed with graciousness and skill, but she sings through the lives of her friends, her community, and most especially her students, who meet Torah through her caring tutelage. It is no small coincidence that her students bring their children to learn at her feet as well, or to become married, or to soothe their pain as loved ones pass from the earth. Witnessing a miracle, and it is beautiful to behold. As you may know, this year marks Cantor Karen's 33rd year as Congregation Shalom's cantor. Beyond our congregation, she has taught at many of the congregations here tonight, and with many of the rabbis as well. She is a colleague and friend, and she is deserving of the title that she is receiving at the end of this month of Congregation Shalom's Cantor Emeritus. Though the coronavirus has made gathering impossible, we will celebrate our cantor, our emissary to the divine, in many ways, particularly her final Shabbat on June 26th before she is promoted to her new title. And we will celebrate together when it's safe to do so. And so as we turn to the prayer Oseh Shalom, may we reflect on the ways the singers in our lives, the teachers in our lives, and how Cantor Karen Berman has helped us create peace and wholeness in our world and in our hearts. From my family and from all of our congregational families, with a song in our hearts, we thank you, Karen. We turn now to Oseh Shalom. Cantor Barash, will you sing Oseh Shalom?
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. ואמרו אמן.
Many years ago, at a Saturday morning minyan, as we approached the Misha Beirach prayer for healing, and people mentioned for whom they wanted to say a prayer, one participant suggested we say a Misha Beirach for the earth. I think perhaps some environmental mishap had just occurred. I gently suggested that we keep the list to individuals so as not to overshadow their needs with the ills of an entire planet. It has since occurred to me that I was wrong. There are times when a collective illness strikes many and must be acknowledged. This Shabbat, 2 contagions fill that description. The coronavirus that has sickened millions, killed hundreds of thousands, and left many who survived with lasting health problems. And the second contagion is hatred, prejudice, and racism, and the societal structures that perpetuate them. The Misha Berach asks God for Rifu'ah Shlema, a complete healing, a physical healing of the body and a spiritual healing of the soul. Tonight, let's pray for both. Healing for our family and friends who are not well, and healing for the soul of our nation. As we take a moment to say the names of those for whom we are praying, either aloud or to ourselves, let's remember that our hearts are big enough to encompass prayers for individuals as well as for all of humanity. Please join us as together we sing the prayer.
Our guest speakers joining us through Zoom have very deep roots in our area and, of course, in Wisconsin. Both grew up at Olin Saying Ruby Union Institute. Sally Kane from the Twin Cities, Leora from Wilmette, but both ended up going to the University of Wisconsin, where they received their bachelor's degrees. The reality is Sally may be in Chicago now during the winter, but in most years, the summers, of course, on Lac La Belle. And Leora, though she is coming to us from Brooklyn now, the reality is her sister and brother-in-law and niece and nephew are right here in Milwaukee. In fact, we'll be going to her sister's house after the service. Sally, well, I want to make this quick because we sent this out and we want to hear them. You don't want to hear me. Suffice to say that both of them have been my teachers. Sally is as a camper and then Madrik and a unit head growing up at Olin Saying Ruby. Leora is a Madricha, and I think a unit head also at Olin Saying Ruby. They were my teachers when I was young and didn't know what I was doing. And today, in entirely new roles, Sally, of course, is director of Olin Saying Ruby Union Institute, and Leora now is Director of Program for Union for Reform Judaism in New York. They both are products of our movement, deeply committed to our movement, and helping us at this point to offer some stories of our time, moving with strength to the future in the age of COVID-19 and so much else, which is just surrounding us. We are thrilled that you're both with us. Thank you for being my teacher and the teachers of so many of us. And tonight you get to be all of our teachers.
Thank you, Rabbi Berkson. We're really glad to be here tonight with all of you. For us, it feels a lot like home. Both Sally and I are homegrowners from the Midwest, as Rabbi Berkson just said. And we have some pretty serious camp bona fides between us, a combined 59 years at Asarui, all I'm saying Ruby. So as was said, my name is Rabbi Leora Kay. I use the she, her pronouns, and I'm the director of program for the Union for Reform Judaism. Sally, as was mentioned, is the director of Asarui. And we are both really deeply committed to the reform movement and the Midwest and the kind of synagogues where you all are members. In fact, I have to say, as was mentioned, I have to say that because my sister and brother-in-law and niece and nephew are members at one of them. But tonight we were invited to share some stories about where we are as a movement, where we are as a Jewish community. And we felt that we could do that by sharing stories. So we had originally entitled this evening, Stories of Our Time, Moving Forward into the Future in the Age of COVID-19. But as was mentioned earlier, really with the reality of what's happened in the last week and a half, we felt that we needed to change that title. So we changed it in our minds to Stories of Our Time, Moving with Strength into the Future in this age. Because we know that even in the last week and a half since we gave it that first name, so much more has happened. And now we have to look at much more than just what the implications are of COVID-19. We have to look at the whole world as it is and move into it with strength and support of our communities and our neighborhoods. And we know that your synagogues and Jewish communities are responding to the very real scourge of systemic oppression and racism that exists in our country. And it's responses like those that will hopefully lead us to build a world that connects people more than it divides them. It's a world where more stories are going to be shared.
Shabbat Shalom. I would add my thanks to each of you for having Leora and me join you. We are honored to be a part of this community in so many ways and to be with you tonight. For those that don't know, Leora's father was my predecessor at Asrui, and I'm personally honored with any opportunity to follow somebody with the last name K. I have lots of connections to Milwaukee. My parents and grandparents actually grew up in Milwaukee, though I grew up in Minneapolis. I spent my summers in Oconomowoc and came back to Wisconsin for undergrad, and I'm a lifelong Badger. I know many of you in the Milwaukee community are affiliated with Asrui and send your kids to Asrui. And I know that many of you also go to other Jewish camps. And this is a hard moment for Jewish camping. Many Jewish overnight camps have made the difficult decision to not have camp this summer. And for all of us, there's nowhere we would rather be than at camp with you and with your family. And though we can't be together this summer in person, we're honored to be here together tonight.
So there's a story about a wealthy but kind of miserly man who didn't believe in contributing to the needs of the others who were a little bit less fortunate than he was. But one day his rabbi called on him and said, I'm hopeful that you might be able to help me out with a family. There's a family in need, and I know that you all really have more than what you need, and they have a little bit that they could use. And I'm wondering if you might be able to help us out with this. Maybe you could offer some assistance. The man looked at the rabbi and said, nope, no, I'm not. I'm really not interested in giving away all the things that I worked for. Perhaps they should have worked harder, and then they would have what I have, and they wouldn't be in need. The rabbi sat and she thought about it for a little bit, but she knew that this man was really a good person in his heart. They had had good conversations and that he was usually thoughtful and not as unkind as he was acting in that moment. And so the rabbi had an idea. She walked over to a desk where she saw that there was a hand mirror sitting on the desk, and she picked it up and she brought it over to the man and asked him to look into it. He looked into the mirror and he kind of gave the rabbi a funny look, but said, "If that's what you want me to do, fine." And then the rabbi asked him what he saw. Again, he was a little bit irritated, but he played along and he answered the rabbi and he said, "Well, I see myself. What else would I see in a mirror?" And then the rabbi took him by the hand and walked him over to the window. And then she said that she wanted him to describe what he saw outside of the window. And again, the man scoffed a bit, but he answered sort of quickly and he said, "I see what you would see outside of a window. I see a young girl playing with her mom. I see an older couple walking sort of slowly, but getting where they need to go." And he laughed a little and said, "I see a couple that's fighting on the sidewalk." "And so that is kind of what I wanted you to see," the rabbi said to him. See, what is the mirror made of?" she asked him. And he said, "Glass." And she looked at him and she said, "Well, what is the window made of?" And he looked at her and a little bit more slowly because he started to see where she was going. He said, "Glass." "Exactly," the rabbi said. "Both the same material, but one allows you to see what's on the outside, to see the stories of others and their lives and the places that you might go. And it allows you to see how similar you are to others. You've played on the street once or twice, I bet. You've walked more slowly as you've aged. I'm sure that you've even bickered with somebody you love. But the mirror, also made of glass, covered in silver, only allows you to see yourself. You only see what you want, what makes you think more highly of yourself." The man understood. He really did. He looked at the rabbi and he asked her how much she needed. And he asked her how else he could help this family. And he thanked her for her help. So this story, it kind of reminds us of how important it is right now in this day, in this time, to look out of the window. Of course, there is potentially a desire to look in the mirror and to worry about your own self and to see what you might need right now. Whether it's about COVID-19, it's about the race conversations, but there is another conversation, there's another version that could be had, where you look out of the window to see what your community needs and how to address that. And the reality is that when you do that, it also actually allows you to help yourself a bit and to change your own life. So the place where I work, the Union for Reform Judaism, it's the organization to which 850 Reform congregations across North America, congregations like Congregation Emmanuel B'nai Jeshurun, Emmanuel of Waukesha, Congregation Shalom, Congregation Sinai, Beth Hillel Temple, you're all members of the Union for Reform Judaism. And this is where the work of adding a little bit more justice and compassion and wholeness into the world comes from when it comes to Reform movement synagogues. And the work has been, quite honestly, revved up, even more so in the last number of weeks. It's happened because we have to all, to some extent, in our homes or a 1,000 square foot apartment, we need our Jewish community for prayer and for mourning. We need it for the celebrations of births. And so the URJ said, all right, how can we support our congregations? What can we do? What can we do to offer resources for sure that we have, that we know, but that can also bring people together? Your clergy and your lay leadership, your presidents of your synagogues and your chair people, some of you are those people right now. How can we bring more people into conversation so that you can share your stories and share what you've learned and what has worked and what has failed? And then when things take a turn, those connections are already in place because we know that you do this for yourselves. Milwaukee is a place that does it naturally. It's the Midwestern in you. But we also know that you can help your congregations connect to places in Omaha or California or San Antonio. And you too can look out of that window even more. And I think you see where this is going. It just gives you the chance to build even more connections.
Thank you, Leora. There is a popular story told about a professor in a large lecture hall. You've probably heard this one before, but Leora and I felt it was an important story to share in this moment. The students all knew that he was well-liked. That's why they signed up for his class in such large numbers. He was an experiential teacher, entertaining. He taught and heard them for who they were. On the first day of the class each semester, he did the same thing. He would reach under his desk and put a huge glass jar up on the desk. And from there, he would start by filling it with large stones. He would put in as many as he could. And then he would ask the students whether the jar was filled. Well, inevitably, they would say, yes, it was. And then he would reach under his desk again and he would pull out a container of pebbles and he would pour them into the jar where they would fill in the spots the large stones had left. He would look at the class and ask again, is the jar filled? Yes, they would say with much conviction. He would shake his head, a bit disappointed, but with a warm smile, and he'd pull out a box of sand. He'd pour the sand into the jar, into the spaces left by the pebbles and left by the rocks, and the sand filled the jar even more. How about now, he asked the students. Fewer answered, some saying yes, some imagining maybe there was something else coming, and he pulled out a pitcher of water, even as they were answering, and he poured the water into the jar. And he said to them, so tell me, what am I trying to show you? And they answered, maybe you can always fit more in. He gently shook his head, no. Maybe you can always find time to do more. And he said, no, that's not it either. And eventually the professor said to them, unless I add the largest stones first, I would never be able to fit them into the jar. And the same with the pebbles and the sand and the water. And you, my students, as you look at your lives, remember to figure out what your large stones are. What are the priorities that you feel must fit into your jars? Be sure to know them and place them in first. I tell this story because there are so many things that make up what Jewish summer camp is. The campers, the staff, the lake, the pool, horseback riding, singing together, eating meals together in the Chadar Ochel in the dining hall, can go on and on. But for camps, the biggest stone is the health and well-being of our communities. On April 30th, Osrui, along with the other URJ camps, announced that for the first time since 1952, we would not be having camp this summer. This was a decision we made that had many ramifications. I know it affects families' plans for the summer, kids who are looking forward to a first summer at camp or maybe a 5-year t-shirt. I know it affects our counselors who were home from school already and counting down the days, hoping they would be back at their camp, whether Osrui or elsewhere. And it certainly affects the livelihoods of our full-time staff. We who work for camp, who think about camp every day, are so sad about this decision. And yet we believe strongly that it was the right decision. After extensive conversations with partners, with other camps, with experts in the field, and we weighing all of the risks, we ultimately knew there were too many things, known and unknown, that made having camp this summer impossible. It's made harder by the fact that in the last 3 months, kids have needed camp more than ever before. Camp is a place where we get to create the world we aspire for. Camp is the place where we strive to teach kids how to treat one another. This week, that has been so clearly in need in our country and our world. As we move forward, we are trying to think about the other pieces that fill the jar that make up camp, the importance of how do we keep our community connected. We're figuring out this online stuff just like your congregations are. At camp in the summer, we're screen-free, so this is antithetical to what we do, and yet we are bringing our community together to experience camp this way. We still are committed to teaching kids how to care about each other, and we are committed to ensuring the long-term existence of our camps and institutions. We miss the in-person connection and the sort of dialogue that doesn't happen in Zoom chats. And yet, at camp, we teach that our responsibility is to the values that we learn, such as pikuach nefesh, the value of saving a life.
So Solly and I, when we were talking about this, wanted to figure out one last story to end with. Again, as we're sort of responding and recognizing what's going on in the world today, in your city and the cities that we're both sitting in. And we kind of had a funny back and forth. And one of the things that we talked about was something that is something called the Metropolitan Diary. Now, some of you may be very familiar with it. Maybe you used to read it on Mondays in the New York Times, like I did. Metropolitan Diary are just little stories that people would send in about the vagaries of life. And here's one of them from a woman in New York, but it could really work almost anywhere. It's from a few years ago.
Dear Diary, for 20 years, I ran 10 laps around my West Village block every day. I usually ran in the morning before work, but occasionally had to wait until evening. On one of those runs after a stressful day at the office, I was feeling really tired as I began my 9th lap. I decided to cut my run short until a woman sitting on a stoop called out, "Is this your last lap?" Before I could say a word, her companion answered.
No, she has one more to go.
Needless to say, I went on to complete the full 10 laps. We have told you about camp, about the work of the Reform movement, but really what we both learned growing up at Osrui and in our congregations and in our Reform movement is that what really matters is how you share your own stories with each other. So we want to challenge you and ask you, what are you doing to stay connected to each other? The Jewish community does that. It can help you. You can connect to your synagogues, to each other, to camp. We are here to help and help bring us together at this moment when we need that connection more than ever.
In reality, this enterprise of Jewish life, this connectedness of 850 congregations across North America and the connectedness of camp families that are old and the new ones that are yet to come, whether it's experienced at home or with your synagogue or at camp, that's the heart of the story. It's the idea that every one of us, every one of our lives is a story. And it's a good story to share, and it's an important story to share. And sometimes it's a hard and painful story to share. The idea that there are people who are looking out for you, who want to hear your story, and they want to make sure that if you need a little bit of extra help while you're sheltering at home or while you are out there on the streets, that they can help you. They can drop off groceries, or they can have a Lego challenge with your kids on Zoom, or they can offer you a Torah study in the morning. And if you have done that for someone, thank you. And if you need that, tell us. Tell your rabbis and your cantors and your executive directors and your educators. I know you guys have a lot on your plates already. Or maybe tell your lay leader or tell somebody who's a friend in the synagogue that this is what you need. And if you don't feel like you could tell those people, just tell one person quietly. And I'm telling you that we will come through for you. The same way that someone came through for your neighbor and the same way that you came through for someone else. That story about running around the block and having one woman look at you and say, "Are you done?" and the other say, "Nope, she's got one more to run." That story is about being accountable. And it's our congregations and communities that are making sure this week, especially, but really, it's so important to hear that this is the week that we make sure that the Jews of color that are part of our family and the people of color who are part of our community know that we are hearing you and that we will stand with you. We will stand with you. The idea that someone is out there who knows how far you have run and how much you have in you and how much you need us to run with you. That is what we are all here to do for each other, to hear each other's stories and to help tell them even more. So Solly and I both learned at camp that you really can't teach a lesson without some Torah in it. I'd like to believe that what we've done in the last little while has had some Torah in it, but let's be a little bit more explicit. So as we end this week, we're in Parshat Naso, and this is where we hear the priestly benediction. And we genuinely felt that this evening, as we were all together, even though we can't be in the exact same physical place, we're separated perhaps by miles or screens, we still thought that we could maybe bless you. And like we told 3 stories about looking out, about knowing others, and about knowing what is most important, Birkat Kohanim, the priestly blessing, also offers you a blessing of 3, that you may be blessed, that light may shine upon you, and that your homes and your synagogues and your communities may have the blessing of peace. So with that, we give you this blessing.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'choneka. May God cause the most divine light to shine upon you and to be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face turn toward you and toward our world and grant you and all of us peace. Shabbat shalom.
On behalf of all the congregations of the MCRC, thank you so much, Sally and Rabbi Kay, for your wisdom and your inspiration. Your words are always appreciated, but perhaps never more so than at this very moment. We continue with Aleinu.
Aleinu לשבח אדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה.
Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. The eternal will reign forever and ever.
As I read this meditation prior to the Kaddish prayer, we have the tradition at Beth Hillel Temple to invite those who are observing a yahrzeit on a given Shabbat or holiday, or who have experienced the death of a dear one in recent weeks or months, to rise during this meditation prior to the Kaddish. So if you wish to do that, please do so now. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. At Beth Hillel Temple, we are marking the yahrzeits from a Black Lives Matter yahrzeit list in addition to our own congregational list. We'll now be reading the list from all of the congregations, and we'll begin with the Beth Hillel list. On this Shabbat at Beth Hillel Temple, we particularly remember the recent deaths from COVID-19. and the recent tragic death of George Floyd. May their souls be bound up in the bond of eternal life. And we mark the yard sites in our congregation of Robert Ramsey, Esther Koretsky Weber, Pearl M. Retchen, Irving M. Berenson, Nancy Patricia Stewart Frankel, Rose Richmond, Rose Phillips, Norman Palmer, Edith E. Lisberg, Hyman Scheinbrud, and Abraham Rubenstein. And we add to those names from the Black Lives Matter yard site list, Latanya Haggerty, whose yard site occurs on this date.
We remember the relatives and friends of Congregation Emmanuel B'nai Yeshurun who have gone before us into life eternal. We remember tonight the names of Suzanne Goldstein, Michael S. Luber, Martin Millman, J.W. Jim Cogburn, Ryle Sonduck, Elise Azriel, Rabbi Sissy Corin, George Floyd, and Bruce J. Friedman, who were laid to rest recently. We remember also the anniversaries of we remember also the names of John Olschwang, Maurice Maury Atkin, Cecil Evelyn Bitker, Saul A. Eckstein, Robert David Eisman, Anita Ettinger, Lawrence E. Foreman, Rose Gutt, Rose Gale Harris, Beatrice Hoffman Mamlik, Minnie P. Isaacson, Gordon Kaufer, Samuel W. Kaufman, Julius N. Kohler, Sarah H. Kripke, Fanny Kerman, Patricia Kushner, Forrest F. Lane, Walter S. Langer, Abraham J. Levin, Anna R. Levin, Elaine Levine, Abud Levy, Bertha Pash Melman, Albert A. Mayer, Alvina Meyer, Jordan Miller, Minnie Miller, Sarah June Miller, Sam Minkoff, Alfred Newlander, Joseph Polland, Joseph Wright Bird, Gail Rosen, Henry Schneider, Sarah Florence Schrader, Lorraine Chudson, Myron E. Schwartz, Robert David Seinfeld, Ben Sherman, Rose Siegel, Charles J. Smith, Charlotte Wald, Solomon Carl Weissenberg, Sam Weisfeld, Melvin Zaret, Becky W. Zarni, whose anniversary of death is remembered tonight. We also remember those who perished in the Shoah who have no yahrzeit dates.
And from Congregation Emmanuel of Waukesha, these are recent deaths in our community. Todd Patz, Robert H. Ullman, and these we are thinking of whose yahrzeits are being observed. Max Cohen, Robert Frisch, Gelbert Avram, Irving Kuleko, Milton Kuleko, Mildred Parr, Anne Ray Raskin, Sarah Small, and all who have succumbed to COVID-19.
In this Shabbat, Congregation Shalom remembers those who have passed during Shiva and Shloshim. We think of George Floyd, Betty Maselman, Rabbi Sissy Koran, Douglas Dreifke, Suzanne Goldstein, Eric House, Jean James, Joel Marcus, Gary Sapiro, Susan Tannenbaum, Tybee Willis. We also commemorate those who we remember who have perished in years gone by, of whom we mark their yahrzeit this evening. We think of Lauren Lance Arnold, Julia Satinsky, Alex Bard, Jason Perry Bean, Helen Berkovitz, Leonard Bernstein, Isaac Bonnick, Israel Borikoff, Chaya Devora Buim, Constance Donahue, Leo Duckler, Bella Fisher, Jean Frackman, Saul Gollin, Maurice Gorski, Mary Goulder, Lorraine Greenberg, Howard Kaiser, Mandel Rubin Katz, Samuel Kaufman, Howard Kaiser, Shirley Niaz, Betty Kramer, Sarah Lakritz, Genya Lemmel, Beverly Levin, Ruth Lieberman, Louis Lustig, Rose Mackman, Mildred Maimon, Robert Mayerson, Mary Mesnick-Paler, Helene Newberger, Howard Paley, Doris Peckerman, Hans Pick, Jack Polanski, Judy Bruskin Rosenthal, Harry Rubin, Eugene Sobolski, Ethel Setlick, Dr. Richard Siegel, Faye Singer, Philip Stein, Judith Weiss, Samuel Weiner, Eva Wiviet, Mildred Wolfson, Harry Yano, Barbara Young, Melvin Zaret, Bessie Lesson Zeft. We also remember all those who died due to war and or terrorism, all those who died in defense of this nation and allied nations' ideals, as well as all those who perished during the Holocaust.
In addition, Congregation Sinai recalls those who died during this past month: Dorothy Lubar Zucker, Paul Rosenberg, Eli Hayes, and Esther Luber Sametz, and those whose yahrzeit fall this week: Goldie Anoff Borkovitz, Edith Bilski, Fran Morris Boxer, Louis Cohen, James Davis, Jenny Friedlander, Murray Glass, Arthur Goldstein, Saul Gollin, Martin Jacobs, Sam Kaufman, Sally Keeley, Beverly Labotsky-Levin, Samuel Reuter, Barbie Eisman, Edith Sarah Shermer, and those who passed away 53 years ago during the Six-Day War.
We invite you now to all rise as we continue with the sanctified words of the Kaddish prayer. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divarach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayedecho beit Yisrael, v'agala uvizman kari v'imeru, Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach la'alam ulamei amaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imeru amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, Ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imeru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us. And let us say, Amen.
We began our service tonight with our cantors coming together, singing Hinei Matov. And we'll conclude our service tonight once again with our cantors coming together, the closing words of Adon Olam, the Ado, into your hands I entrust my spirit when I sleep and when I wake. And with my spirit, my body also. The eternal is with me. I shall not fear.
בידו הפקיד רוחי, והייתי שם בעירה. Adon
Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos. May all of you be blessed with health, with strength, and may we bring that health and strength to all those around us. In just a few moments, we're going to be continuing by going to the Kay Silvermans. Rabbi Kay is going to take us over to, at least symbolically, her sister's house here in Milwaukee, as we'll be gathering for, I guess, Aviva and Charlie and Michelle and Alan to kind of lead us in Ben Schlicht. We'll have a little postlude, little music here to help us move from here at our service. We hope you'll all be with us together at the Silvermans in just a few moments. Shabbat Shalom. So momentarily, Michelle, before you will be the English that you can read, and then I think Cantor Berman will be chanting the blessing, and we'll all light our candles.
We mark the beginning of the sacred time, Shabbat, the day of rest. We pause and remind ourselves of the beauty of this world, of the loves that embrace us, of the blessings that fill us. May we be Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvot v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. May we be blessed with Shabbat joy. Ellen?
May we be blessed with Shabbat peace.
And may we be blessed with Shabbat light.
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat, lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We now take a few moments to ask God's blessings on those nearest and dearest to us, our spouses, our partners, our children. Some of the traditional words momentarily will appear before you. If you're blessed with your loved ones close to you, literally, physically, place your hands on them, be with them as you offer God's blessings, or may God's blessings flow through you. If they're distant from you, perhaps on a different device, a phone, a tablet, reach out to them now and ask God's blessings to flow through you. And of course, part of the traditional blessing parents bestow upon children is Birkat Kohanim, the blessings that Rabbi Kay and Sally bestowed upon us just a few moments earlier.
And now if you'd like to take some time to bless the children that are either with you in your homes or who you're thinking about who are far away, or if perhaps again you'd like to connect electronically and give them a blessing, those blessings appear before you on the page.
Shabbat Shalom. Now we're going to go to, I guess, Beth Silver's house. Beth, you'll be leading us in the English before Kiddush, and then Cantor Barash will be chanting the Hebrew, and we can join in with him.
6 days you will work and achieve, but the seventh day is dedicated to the Eternal One, your God. With the fruit of the vine, our sweet symbol of joy, we celebrate this sacred day. We give thanks for life and its blessings, for work and for rest, for the opportunity to gain and the privilege to give, for home and friendship and love.
ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ, וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי, מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא, אשר ברא, אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
Sabri.
לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
It's finally, we're going to go to the home of Sandy Fugate. Sandy, I think you're also president at Beth Hillel, right?
Right.
And we'll be joining together with you as both at your home, physically, and wherever we are, kind of virtually. We break bread together as you lead us in Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth. Shabbat shalom.
Hey, Abo.
Hey, toss it back here. I want some power. I'll knock them out.
Shabbat shalom to everyone. I don't know, according to this, we'll still stream a bit, but for those of us who are here on Zoom, we can have a little Zoneg for a little bit if you want to. We'll just